guys.
Yeah.
I'm just seat on my
I'm just going to
virtual
pull up
feet.
a seat here, apparently.
Yeah,
I know. I think
Carl,
you can move around the stage, can't you?
You're
I'll go and
smart,
stand over
Carl.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl done smart. Brilliant.
How is everyone?
Yeah, good.
I've
Just woke up, but other than good.
The UK? No, you must be in the US if you just woke up.
Yeah, I'm in Southern California, just outside of LA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that's a British accent.
It is, yeah. It's definitely not a Los Angeles accent.
I bet you're loving it in LA, yeah?
Oh no, this weather's miserable.
Oh,
I don't know.
No, I mean with
know.
your accent there. I bet you're loving it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
it's terrible.
Good man.
So where are you guys all based? It sounds like are you in Dubai with the Talk of Atlantis? I missed that part. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So you're in Dubai, and Nikki,
Ivan
in
is
Cyprus?
Ivan, I think, is in Cyprus.
Oh, Ivan's in Cyprus. Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just.
Who is in Cyprus?
No, I thought. Sorry, wait. I thought you were in Cyprus.
I am in Cyprus right now. Yeah. But not Ivan. It's Sean.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
Guys, if you want to know each other names, I'll just do some housekeeping rules. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Is Thomas with us now? Thomas, bonsoir. Can you hear us okay? Okay, we'll allow him to do it. What about Omar? Omar, salam alaikum. How are things?
Alaikum salam. Yeah, all good. How are you?
Very well indeed. Thank you very much. I'm Sean Alimov. I'll be moderating this amazing panel today. So welcome everyone. Are we waiting for Martin? Maria?
Hi everybody. I was just trying to reach out to him, and I believe he's not joining tonight, so we can start, and then if he's ready, he will join the conversation.
Okay, brilliant. There you go. We've got Thomas back. Thomas, can you hear us? Yeah, we can hear you, Thomas, but you're very far away. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to start if you don't mind. Okay, so first of all, belated Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, got spoiled, had lots of food, with the high need to go to the gym now to burn all those calories.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. So before we start, I'd like to give you just a few couple of housekeeping rules. So for everyone in the audience, this is the platform where we enjoy the open conversation, engaging discussions. So if you'd like to ask questions from our esteemed hosts, please raise your hand. On the panel below, you can see a tab that allows you to come to the stage. Do some snapshots for your social media, or again on the panel, you can do all that. And express your feelings by using the emojis. So right now I'm gonna put the heart on it. Okay. So yeah, I was felt really privileged when I was asked to host this panel. Certainly appreciate the diversity, the international feel to it. So maybe let's start with Amrita. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to say all the good things about you. And...
No, thank you so much, first of all, for having me. It's exciting. It's the first time I'm in the Connect Club, and it's really cool interface. So thanks. So my name is Amrita Sethi, and I'm the first NFT artist in Dubai. but I didn't actually turned it's called voice note art, soon to be called soundbite, and it's all based on sound and storytelling. So I kind of capture sound and then interweave art that reflects the meaning of the word or the sound.
I love it. Ex-banker turning NFT artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought I've heard it all until today. Okay.
Well, I got into it before it all went a bit crazy, but yeah.
Excellent. Carl, what about you? You are muted at the moment, Carl. Hello? Okay. Carl, we can't hear you at the moment. So let's move to Omar. Omar, how are things?
All good, all good.
ApeGang, what's that all about?
ApeGang is probably one of the most incredible communities in the NFT space, particularly the profile picture NFT space. Was started off originally as just 10,000 profile pictures of these pixelated, really cool looking apes. Is now developed into so much more. We've got a metaverse game in collaboration with Leapin, where you can literally just stay other and go on different quests and have gang wars. Gang wars is a huge part of what we do. So there's a play to earn element. It's been quite a ride. Started off back last year in mid-June, July. And ever since then, it's just been like delivery on every single roadmap piece. The community's been growing. I think we're at, I want to say 40,000 people on Twitter right now. Overall, if you take into consideration Instagram and Discord and everything. So yeah, it's been crazy. I think all of us are blessed to have joined from the very beginning, and we're just getting started, to be honest. The space doesn't even know half the stuff that we're working on. So yeah, and I mean, just to give you a quick intro about myself, not as exciting. I wasn't a former banker that got into NFTs, so not as cool. I actually just have my background is in social media and marketing, and I specifically work in content creation and social media with ApeGang. So kind of makes sense, not as cool, but definitely just as fun of a story.
Excellent. Omar, you're a handsome fella, so feel free to turn on your camera. Don't be shy.
I'm not shy. It's just I'm on the street because it's like 9 p.m. and I have to run some errands in Dubai. As I said down somewhere, definitely storyline place.
Man, Carl, over to you.
Just checking you guys in loud and clear.
Perfect.
Excellent, good stuff. You're great to be here, guys. For taking the time as well. Morning from a sunny, currently just outside of Los Angeles at the moment. I'm an international attorney. I'm a lawyer. I've made no sideways steps. I stayed in. But I've been for a number of years to be the managing associate of Gresham International. I made in a couple of different, and we have offices in the United Kingdom, out here in the US. We do very cool stuff in crypto space. We work with great creative types and ourselves very differently as a crypto lawyer. I always draw the distinction between lawyers that work in crypto, which we see a lot of, and crypto lawyers, which I am definitely the latter. So great to be here and talking with like-minded people from all over the world, and keen to share with you guys some ideas and some thoughts.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carl. Thomas, bonsoir. Je voudrais parler avec Thomas. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Much luck with Thomas today.
No, I don't even know if he can hear us.
But you know what? Thomas got a really cool profile picture. Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of buying the same jacket. All right. Well, listen, until it comes back online, why don't we just start? Just dive straight into it. So, Amrita, what drives people to buy digital art, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I think, it's the same reason to its core, I think, why people are driven to buy art, other kind of collectibles, so to speak. And it's all about, I would say, three main things. It's about rarity, scarcity, and community. And so, and that is something that happens in the physical art world. And now what we've done is through NFTs. Digital art, you couldn't make it rare and you couldn't make it scarce because of the nature of being able to, ultimately have infinite amount of, copies of it. But with blockchain and being able to have NFTs and being able to mine that in and to be able to get rarity and scarcity, that's what's really kicked off, I think, the revolution in digital art. And then the final point really is around, community. And I think what I always say is, like, let's go back to, way back, let's not look at 2022. Let's look all the way back at a time when there weren't planes and, this was old school. So you would literally create the community with people around you, physically around you. And you would share interests and you would interact and have that kind of community. Whereas now, especially with what blockchain is doing, and especially things like having Discord and Twitter and these kind of online communities, you're able now to communicate and work with people aligned in your interests. And it doesn't matter where they are. And I think once you start to find a community, it's just like, before you would have, say, Switzerland with its flag, its identity, or the UK with its flag and identity, or Dubai. But now people's identity comes from, as silly as it may seem, but as deep as it is, it may come from is it ApeGang? Like, it might come from an ApeGang. It might come from a board, Ape Yacht Club. It might come from a crypto kitty or a unicorn, or, whatever the case is. And that creates almost a new identity. That creates a new club. And so a lot of the time, NFTs now are becoming this kind of, I would say, key, like that kind of unique and rare key to the club. And I think that's also what's really driving this kind of change in digital art.
Interestingly enough, an ex-banker didn't mention the money side and investment part. So
we'll talk about that in a bit. I'm trying to anchor it, hopefully, in what the purity in which it should be, but I do feel it's taken a whole different turn. But we'll talk about that.
I would add maybe aesthetics as well to that. But yeah, no, certainly love it.
Yeah, why do people? Because it's the same people buy art, right? It's because they love that, they're inspired by that art piece. And they want to put it on their wall, and now they don't need to put it just on their wall at home. They can put it on their wall in social media and the metaverse.
Omar, what's your view?
I mean, 100% agree with all of those points. I think, if anything, you had to break it down, it would probably go down to, it's either you buy in because of the utility, meaning you're buying, your ticket into a game, your ticket into a metaverse, you're buying something that gives you some added value in the future, or you're just buying it because of, as mentioned before, the aesthetic of it. You like a piece of art, it just looks pretty cool to you. You think, this is something that I'd like to put up on a wall. And in this case, you could just have it as like your phone wallpaper. You could have it on your, Apple Watch, whatever it is. Or in a lot of cases as well, I think there's that element of social status in some cases. Like, sometimes you want a ticket into a specific social circle. And I think we saw that a lot with, for example, the Board Ape Yacht Club, where it almost became a sign of status. Like, yes, I belong to that group of people, and now I have access to them, and now I can basically meet them and speak to them and so on and so forth. I think the best projects are the ones that nail all of these elements together. The art is good, there is utility, and there's a sense of community. But then I think some projects start off with maybe one or two of these three components and then end up kind of reaching the third along the way. But I think a lot of, projects have blown up over the past couple of months because of people literally FOMOing into the idea of owning the next Bored Ape or the next CryptoPunk or whatever it is. But a lot more people that might be a bit more comfortable with investing in NFTs are still looking at the same stuff. They're still looking at, I like this piece of art, it looks pretty cool to me, or hey, this is a pretty cool game, I should grab an NFT so I can play it and whenever it comes out, right? So yeah, totally agree with all those points.
Carl, how many NFTs have you got?
Yeah, good question. I'm probably sitting on, oh goodness, I don't know, maybe about 100 right now of all varying different types and styles and degrees. I think I'm not a portfolio diversification kind of guy. I'm more of a project lover and a project liker. I think that the other guys have made some amazing points around what gets people interested in NFT art and why people might jump in on NFTs. And I think one thing outside of the community aspect and everything else is generally support. Buying NFTs is a great way to support if you believe that the cause behind it, maybe not so much of a metaverse impact or perhaps a gaming side of things or a monetary gain, but actually if you're just looking for a way to be like, look, I like this artist, I really like the stuff they're doing, and it's a great way to support them because speaking as somebody who lived just outside of Laguna Beach for a number of years, there's a huge art community in Laguna Beach. I'm and fullest, absolutely not, unfortunately, but I'm trying to lend support to those up and coming artists and really giving them an international platform like they've never seen before is kind of awesome. It's kind of amazing. So I think my holdings tend to sometimes reflect that more than any other reason.
Okay, so thank you for your answers. I guess looking back at 2021, what do you think contributed to NFTs to become the biggest crypto story of last year? Amrita?
So, I mean, I think it all kind of kicked off when Meta Coven bought Beeple's artwork for 69 million. So I think that's when it really kind of got pushed onto, I would say, the masses, right? I mean, I was an NFT artist at least a year before that, and especially being in Dubai, where it was a very lonely place, it was a very quiet place. Everybody thought I'd lost my marbles because I'd obviously gone from being a banker to an artist, and then for a good year I was kind of going on and on about NFT art, and my friends thought I'd just gone bananas. And even like I'll never forget, like that was in March in 2021. So I'm originally born and brought up in Kenya. I'm of Indian origin. And I remember in 2020, in December 2020, I was in Kenya, and the whale, some people were buying, like the pure like whale, the original OGs were buying my artwork, and my friends thought it was hilarious that I was selling an NFT for $10,000. They just thought it was like, they were just like, sorry, don't get it, whatever the case is. And then when it happened in March, that's when everybody was like, okay, now what has Amrita been talking about? So that's when I kind of got everybody coming up to me and saying, what is an NFT? What is an NFT? To the point where I literally just made an artwork called What the NFT, because it really kind of signified that incredulity that people had back in March. Like they just couldn't understand why people would be spending money on it's just a JPEG, right? So what I wanted to do with that art piece, for example, was literally like tell the story as to, to show that there was some historical context, that this had been happening over a couple of years, like with, Rare Pepes, CryptoKitties, CryptoPunks, and now that kind of movement to the new future, but also to educate people. And then I would say it wasn't, so that was, I think, the first thing that really, pulled it to the market. But then the second thing then, which also, to be honest, as an artist who's, I try to break boundaries. I involve new technology in what I do. I've created one of the world's largest augmented reality NFT mural here in Dubai. So I try to break boundaries, but somewhere along the way, with the introduction of Bored Ape Yacht Club, was now this kind of thing of how NFTs started shifting, not just from the art, but then to this concept of like trading and and using it almost like just like like a money making trading machine. And I think like it does matter about the community and stuff, but it's gone and taken a very funny I would say twist to the whole story. And I think that's how it ended in 2021, when people were like, okay, is people aping in and just wanting to get FOMO and getting wanting to be part of some of these really big financial gains that were like taking Twitter and TikTok, everything by storm. And I think that's what's then really kind of now pushing NFTs to the main media because of the amount of money people have made from it. So it's kind of taken a bit of a change, I would say, over the course of the year.
Sean, you're muted. So please unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yes, thanks. Omar, what's your views on what's made the NFT so successful? Oh, there you go. Look at that.
I mean, the short, easy answer is ApeGang. But if I had to elaborate, no, honestly, I think
Chill away.
It is so modest, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I think the market was in a really good place. I think a lot of people made a lot of money during that bull run, and then I think a lot of people had a lot of liquidity that they didn't know what to do with. And then I think art and NFTs kind of became almost the perfect asset or the perfect excuse to, I don't even want to call it an investment. It's almost like staking your liquidity, right? I feel like to a lot of people at that point in time, they felt like they were staking Ethereum essentially, right? Like it was just like, oh, I'll buy this, it'll go up in value in a bunch of months or in a year or whatever, and then I'll sell it. But then I think the culture is what really had it kick off, because I think at a certain point in time, Bored Apes were like $200 a piece, CryptoPunks, technically were free. All of these things didn't really have that momentum until all of a sudden everyone wanted the next project. Everyone had, NFT mint alerts switched on. Everyone was talking about, Gary Vee is talking about this project. I don't know who's talking about that project. Look at Franksy's wallet, find out what he's minting, what he's buying. And I think the community really blew it up because, and it still holds truth, because you look at some projects and sometimes you wonder, is there really something in this project, or is it just a bunch of people like really FOMOing into it super hard because a big name or a KOL or a celebrity or whatever bought into it? So I think there was a lot of psychology, a lot of emotion. There's definitely a lot of emotional moves happening in the space, maybe at least back at the time when it was easy to make some of these moves. So yeah, I think it was just a lot of liquidity with a lot of community growth, and that just turned it into basically I think now it overtook cryptocurrency on Google Trends, right? As a term, NFT. So yeah, I think we've come a very far way, but it's definitely still the beginning. A lot of these projects are, at very, very early stages. I'm not going to talk too much about ApeGang in this case, but there's so many different projects where right now you own a ticket into something so much bigger over the next couple of months or years. And I'm really, really excited to see how the developers and how these teams actually bring these projects to life and their final vision, or, roadmap 2.0 or 3.0, whatever it is that they're trying to build.
I run our Friday NFT show, and last week one of the news headlines we were covering, it was that Eminem invested close to $500,000 into the NFT. And one interesting comment that came about from some of my co-hosts is perhaps he's trying to stay relevant. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, all the celebrities are aping in, because I
Aping
think
it,
they're
yes.
all aping in. It's just like it's like a mad frenzy, right? And I think some celebrities, I think the communities also, I mean, okay, look, I would say there's the OG community, and I think now there's the new community that's coming in, right? So I think the OG community at the beginning was quite skeptical of, celebrities just coming in and using, their name to just, kind of like blow up their project. And they kind of fell a bit flat on their faces, some of them, when they launched. But I think now, because I think that the NFT is becoming less about the art, and it's becoming more about, as Omar said, like
Status.
more about the utility and status and this kind of thing. It's, now now the celebrity, if they do it right and they talk to their community in the right way, then they're able to make a success. And yes, looking cool and having an NFT and being with it is definitely some way to stay relevant. But I would like to sort of add here is that, for me, is that as an artist, like, I know, like, at the moment, I think some of these new profile pics and stuff, it doesn't become about the art anymore so much. And I think, I would say that, one of the great things about what NFTs did for artists and creators is really show the first use case scenario of NFTs. And I think at the beginning, there was a real celebration for, different type of art and different NFTs that celebrates that, and again broke the barriers. But I think now, the art is there. I think it's got an importance. I think people obviously also like to see cool things, and it's a good way to identify. But in a way, like, I do think it's also an exciting thing, because I could be like, oh, it's no longer about the art. But as an artist, I understand and appreciate that art was the first use case scenario. And now NFTs are showing that they can be so much more. They can be tickets to the club. They can be tickets to go, or access to your favorite celebrity, if it's Eminem or Snoop Dogg or whoever the case is. It does give you access to, being part of an elite crowd, giving your bragging rights, giving you tickets to concerts. And I think eventually, then from there, I think the next move will then start to be people starting to use it for legal documents, for their birth certificates and everything else like that. So I think that it started at art. I think it's got to this kind of new utility. It is hitting the trading bit, but I do think this is the natural evolution, and I think it's great use case scenarios for it. But I would like people to remember the art as well. But, I do appreciate that it's on its journey of evolution.
Yeah, I love the Helicon NFTs found statement that NFT is pretty much is like a title deed, isn't it? Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the mainstream adoption. When will we see NFTs receive the mainstream adoption? Omar?
I have a very strong belief that will happen with blockchain gaming, to be honest. I think the first wave of mass adoption will come in the form of gamers, solely because it's a lot easier to talk to a person that plays video games and has invested hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars into.
Omar is receiving a call.
Everybody
really? Saw that Omar is receiving the call. That's why he had this phone popped up on his avatar.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I had to cancel that. Sorry. So I was saying, I think because we're so, as gamers, I'm speaking as a gamer here, because we're so accustomed and used to the idea of buying Fortnite skins, spending money on, Call of Duty gun skins. We already invest in digital assets. The concept is not new to us. And so I think onboarding the first, whatever it is, 50 million, 100 million, 200 million people into the space, like properly educate them about it, I think that will come in the form of blockchain gaming first, because it's the easiest person to talk to, technically. And then I think everything else will follow lead. I think as soon as, and it's not going to happen anytime soon, in the sense, I don't think it's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 to 18 months, but I think as soon as games start integrating.
The guy's persistent.
Sorry about that. I seem to be very popular today. Sorry. So because of the fact that it's so easy to adopt, you know, kind of this concept of buying assets in a game, gaining in-game currency, and so on and so forth, I think the first 50 to 100 to 200 million people getting onboarded, or whatever it is, the number that you're looking for, will be in the wave of blockchain gaming and NFT gaming. And then I think as soon as that becomes the norm, and it's like all the blockbuster titles have cryptocurrency integrated, I think people's understanding and willingness to kind of accept NFTs and accept the entire space will just become a lot more natural. It'll be like, so kind of like what we do with video games. So kind of like the skins that I buy. And then I think the entire space just changes completely, because it no longer becomes this weird alien concept. It becomes part of your day-to-day life. But yeah, I'm just, maybe I'm biased, but I genuinely believe that blockchain gaming will be the first step. But I think adoption will happen regardless. I think as soon as, like Amrita was mentioning earlier, as soon as concert tickets and plane tickets and all of these things turn into NFTs, it's not going to be a question of why as much as it's just going to be a question of when. Everyone's just going to wonder, like, when is XYZ company going to integrate NFTs in their operations? And it's just going to become, you know, super backwards almost to not be accepting to the concept, to not be open to the idea of integrating NFTs. I read earlier that I think Apple was trying to stay away from the metaverse and they wanted to focus on their AR stuff. I genuinely question how long that'll last, or maybe I think Apple has a completely different direction towards what they're trying to maybe think of as the metaverse. But I think all companies will follow suit. We've seen it with, you know, big brands like Nike and Adidas. We've seen it with tech companies like Samsung. And I think it's just a matter of time before the entire like retail market follows suit.
Interestingly enough, Apple is not the only one. If we're talking about the big giants, Satya at Microsoft has got exactly the same approach. Metaverse is on his agenda, but he wants to take baby steps. Dior announced their strategy again. Metaverse is on the front agenda, but they're not going to be jumping into it. I think the fashion industry has always been a bit slow.
But I mean,
sorry,
what I would add, I would
What's your
add
view?
to that is that, like, so just to jump in with Apple, what I would say, I can't speak for all the Apple, but the Apple Middle East team, you know, I know them. I'm an influencer for Apple. And if anything, like, you know, I've met the whole team. I help them all, you know, open MetaMask accounts. So there's definitely, I think, you know, massive curiosity, and I think there's definitely something that, you know, that you know, as you said, slowly but surely people are looking at it. And what I found is that my recent experience, so I'm getting a lot of the kind of, I call it from the physical world, the big physical world brands coming to me and kind of asking me for a bit of NFT advisory, but also to create NFT collections for them. And I recently created a collection for one of the oldest banks in Dubai called Commercial Bank of Dubai. So Dubai is actually 50 years old, but this bank is 52 years old. And they were the first bank in the UAE to do an NFT collection, which is what I did for them. And they just, and it was such an interesting experience because, you know, they're moving more to kind of pivot to a more digital banking role going into the future. But to kind of just get, you know, opening MetaMask, explaining what a MetaMask is, and then being able to gift that to their clients. And that journey taught me a lot, right? So it's also interesting because a lot of brands are now doing, you know, getting into NFTs. They're trying to understand what their NFT strategy should be. But then, you know, and so they also want to be relevant. They want to be seen to be in the now, and sometimes also being the first to the NFT space. But then how do they take their clients along with them? And that's what's been interesting, is also trying to, you know, it's one thing educating the brand and maybe the marketing team and the tech team within the brand, but then how do you get that mass adoption from their followers. And I think I've cracked it. And I think that, you know, I've got some really exciting projects coming up in this next, you know, 1 to 2 quarters of 2022, where there'll be mass, where I'm going to try for mass adoption and try to get like even the people who aren't the gamers, who aren't interested in just trading NFTs, to at least get them to understand what it means to conceptually own an NFT.
So as an ex-banker, how difficult was it for you to kind of get involved and engage into these digital collectible markets, you know, all these NFT? Did you find it quite tough, or was it, you know, you're just too smart, you just went like that?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm too smart, but if you have been in the banking industry for a very long time, I was already familiar with blockchain. So it was so easy for me to make that change, right? But I know that there's so many artists that have struggled with it. And artists typically, you know, they're not, which is a right, which I can't remember which one it is, right, left or right brain, because I'm probably both of them. But, you know, they, like a lot of the time for artists, you know, numbers, Excel spreadsheets scare them, right? So having now to then create almost like a financial modeling tool to your NFTs, it can be, it's extremely overwhelming. And so, I mean, on a daily basis, I think I would say I get at least 6 to 10 artists contact me around the world, some days even more, just saying, please help me understand what an NFT, how do I get into NFTs? So you've got people FOMOing because they want to own NFTs, but you've got artists who feel that they're being left along the side, like on the roadside, while, you know, while like a picture of a unicorn is then making money. So it's an interesting one.
So you're both in Dubai right now. In your opinion, how is the GCC region reacting to all this NFT, metaverse, DeFi boom? Are you still trying to, you know, well, I think it's a government kind of a perspective to stay ahead of the curve and, you know, be the best. But in general, putting the celebrities aside, do artists in GCC region open to engaging into the spheres?
I think Amrita can probably speak better on the artist side of things. I definitely think that we're moving ahead. You know, with the announcement of Binance's offices opening here and everything, I think we're definitely making big steps. I think it's good to be in a place that doesn't have resistance towards change, which I think is something that Dubai is super famous for, right? Like something new comes up, they kind of look at it for a while and then they get really good at it and then they just make it like the biggest in the world or whatever. So I expect it to kind of go along the same lines. I think there's still a bit of gray area regarding like regulations and how will this work and, you know, which banks will allow you to cash out. Things like that I think are still a bit gray, but I definitely think as a community, there's a lot more acceptance to the concept. And because we're in Dubai, such an international population, I think there's so many different opinions and there's so many different talents and so many different types of people that it's not just the artists that, in the sense of like actual drawing art, that are interested. I also know a lot of you know, musicians that are very interested in kind of exploring the sound NFT space or the music NFT space. And I think it's only going to grow from here. Overall, I can't speak on behalf of the entire GCC region, but I can definitely say that we're somewhat blessed to be living in Dubai, especially with the whole Binance thing. I think it's definitely going to grow exponentially over the next couple of months and years as well.
I would imagine Binance had various drives to come to Dubai.
Yeah, like taxation.
We lost the lawyers, so I was going to grill him because I prepared a few things for the lawyers, and he disappeared. I think he knew I had his list.
I don't think that concept will make sense here either, right? Because I mean, we have value-added tax, but we don't have like income tax. So I don't think the conversation around taxing crypto gains is even on the table anytime soon, which I think why a lot of crypto projects and companies are considering moving to Dubai.
Of course,
And I
yeah.
think, yeah, I think I would also just add to everything that Omar just said is that, like, I'm in Dubai, they have this thing called a golden visa, which the government
That's
of
right.
Dubai actually gives to people, either, you know, for their contribution in their field or maybe for financial reasons. And I actually received my golden visa from the Dubai Art and Culture, you know, last year, as, you know, as a recognition to,
Congratulations.
thank you so much, as to recognition of my contribution to the digital art scene in the UAE. And so the government thanks, and the government of Dubai, I do think, is really, it's always, you know, I've called Dubai my home for the last 14 years. I myself am very international, and one of the things that I love about Dubai is that it really is truly international, and they always strive to provide a platform for people to be able to do and be their best. I mean, the fact that I have been able to go from being a banker to an artist to an NFT artist, I'm supported. You know, people might say whatever about the Middle East. I'm a woman. I am supported. I am encouraged. I am promoted, and I think this is it. Again, on the art scene, on the entrepreneur scene, on the digital scene, the UAE is really forward. I know I'm shilling the UAE, but I do think that, especially when I'm very deep in the crypto space, in the crypto community, and I do think they're really fostering the right environment, and they're bringing some of the world's most talented people to the UAE, and that's a clever move.
Yeah, that's true. I think it is clever, but I would imagine all these regulations and laws and all this boring stuff eventually will catch up with UAE, but it's not seen on the horizon yet. By the way, everyone in our audience, if you wish to come on the stage and ask Amrita or Omar any questions, please feel free to do so. If you got certain opinion to raise, also. It's an open platform. One other thing I would like to encourage everybody to connect with our host today. You can do that by simply tapping on the avatar and press on connect button. Like, for example, I'm trying to connect with Amrita, but she ain't responding. But it's all right. You know, story of my life. With Omar, my brother, we already connected. It's brilliant. Devon, if you're still with us, yeah, Devon is here. Devon raised their hand earlier. Let me try to bring Devon up on the stage. Devon. I think I'm scaring people today.
I don't think he's in the audience. I can't see him in the audience.
First, it was a French guy, then I scared the lawyer. It's the first time in my life I scared the lawyer away. Okay, all right. Look, again, I'm hosting this show tomorrow, Friday NFT show.
I think somebody tried to join. This guy, yeah, Kevin.
I've just pressed accept. Ken, we're waiting for you. But one of the things I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself. Oh, there you go. Let's let Keith. Sorry, Keith, press your mic on your panel below so we can hear. There you go. Hello, Keith.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the car traveling. I guess my question to we're based in Scotland and the United Kingdom, and we're seeing quite a few kind of like barriers in terms of, you know, NFTs and blockchain more broadly getting into the mainstream. I guess the question to the panel is, what do you think the main barriers are and how do we overcome them?
I can take that question just because I experience it a lot, because obviously I think the main barrier is just getting people to understand what a wallet is, to open a wallet. And as much as I keep trying to say to people, it's really simple, unless you literally stand over them and say, okay, do it now, literally just press this button, press that button, press that button. You know, it's, I think, getting the masses to open up a wallet. And I think, they say the difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is Web 2 is all about username and password, right? And then Web 3 is connecting to a wallet. And I think that people are still used to this Web 2, like this username and password. So I do think, for adoption to happen, we're going to have to compromise a little bit on technology. So I think having these custodial accounts will have to, I think the best way to get people, like, for example, like one of the platforms I'm on is Terra Virtua. And Terra Virtua, their main modus operandi is to get the mainstream on to the platform, but then they open custodial wallets. And then once you are in, you're able then to move it to a non-custodial wallet. But I do think you've got, I think we have to maybe move to custodial wallets, get people used to the concept before we then move them to non-custodial. I don't know if you would find that as well, but that's where I'm finding success.
Agreed. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Actually, it's pretty funny you bring that up, Amrita. Literally the other day, I was just helping a friend set up a PayPal account. And as we were walking through it,
very late to the party.
Yeah, as we were walking through it, after we were done with the entire process, I was like, so what didn't you like about this process? And my friend was like, oh, they asked like way too many questions, like where's my address, upload your picture of your ID, what's your birth date, what's your email, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, that's Web 2. Now let's set up a MetaMask wallet. And I was literally like walking through the exact same process, minus the questions. Just here's your, wallet address, here's your password, here's your seed phrase. No one else should know this. Thank you very much. You're done. You're set up. Now you can actually buy, sell, trade, transfer money. And I think it's so true what you just said. It's the idea of just opening people's eyes and literally like just looking over their shoulder as they start getting into the space and actually get that first crypto wallet. That is probably going to slowly start bringing down all the barriers and all the walls.
I'll give these guys a shout out. They're a new, like a multi-sig, multi-chain wallet. They're called GetSafer. And they've made it also super easy it's a bit like MetaMask on steroids. So I would check them out as well. Like I'll give them a little bit of a show.
I thought I'd bring Mark to the stage. I think Mark knows a little bit of Omar. And plus he's got a look at his profile picture. It just looks really cool.
Looks beautiful.
Mark, what are you smoking?
Ooh, I'm not sure if I should say, but look at that profile picture. Isn't he beautiful?
It is. Why don't you turn on your camera? Let's see.
That's not so. I'm actually not in a place where I can turn on the camera. But I just wanted to give a shout out to my man Omar, who's a part of the ApeGang team, for representing us. And then I might venture a question for the panel now that I'm on the stage. Yes. So I guess one of the main features of the whole NFT blockchain space is that it's decentralized, right? But we also see that a lot of the buying is influenced by a few very prominent influencers like Gary Vee, a few others can really move the entire market, which isn't super decentralized. So how do you see that play out in the future?
Very good question, Mark. So glad you came up.
Well, I'm going to quote, have you guys, do you remember when you were kids? I don't know how old everybody is, but I think I'm a bit older than everybody. Animal Farm.
No, you're not.
I'm gonna quote Animal Farm. So all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. So I think that until we get to a space where, we have more people and, like you're always going to get one or two big leaders at the beginning, right? Look at OpenSea. Like OpenSea has been dominating. And then now I think this year we're going to see some crazy, new NFT platforms with better features, bigger this, bigger everything. So yeah, I mean, there needs to be some leaders at the beginning, right? And I think that's all it is. I think it'll settle down over time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I think it's only a matter of time before we start detaching the performance of certain, you know, whether it's the cryptocurrencies or the NFTs, but it's still so dominant right now. Like I genuinely think it was yesterday or maybe 2 days ago when Gary picked up a crypto skull, and it's a project that's been abandoned since I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And just because someone spotted Gary Vee pick up that NFT, the collection went from like, I think it was around 0.05 to around 1 ETH in like a matter of hours. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. I think he's done a lot for the space, to be honest, like put aside the celebrity influence status or whatever. But I think it's going to be so healthy once we actually detach from all these key figures, because right now it's genuinely, I think, what Mark is alluding to, which is specific key figures that speak about specific projects, and whether you respect them or not, believe in what they say or not, you tend to just follow suit because you know, oh, okay, this person is going to pump my bags, let me pick up whatever NFT they're talking about. I think we saw it with Elon Musk earlier in the year as well, right? When he would just like go out, tweet something, Dogecoin hits like 80 cents, and then 2 weeks later tweet something else, Dogecoin, you know, gets dumped into like 20 cents. I think that's super not healthy for the entire space, and we really need to just start focusing on allowing the projects to actually maneuver when it, like, in a healthy way, rather than just getting pumped and dumped by different influencers and KOLs and celebrities and you know, just people in the space that have the voice and have the platform to speak.
Amrita, I think we're running out of time to talk about the money side of NFTs, but I believe that could be the whole new show.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for your questions and for your inputs. Really glad that Smoking Mark came up on a stage. Yeah, really nice to meet you guys. By the way, if you click on my avatar, you can see I'm a member of different clubs. One of them is called the Metaverse Builders Club. I would love to maybe in the future, if you're open to it, to also kind of touch base on the topic of the metaverse.
Oh, definitely.
With you, it would be great to kind of. I feel like you are great practitioners, and it would be great to kind of get your inputs, your views on some of the things that we're discussing there.
Yeah, so I can chill ApeGang some more and tell you about how we're building the metaverse and all of that. Sure, yeah.
I want to know more about this ApeGang thing. You know, it's like Oma is one of those individuals. He's unintentionally funny, right?
Or
like
intentionally, you never know.
I could tell by his face he couldn't understand what Keith was on about. You know, that Scottish accent was really strong on him. But you know, no, I'm really delighted to do it. I don't know. How do you find the platform, by the way?
I really
the Connect
like
Club. It's really
Yes.
good. Yeah, it's really cool.
The fact that I could do this is probably the coolest thing about it.
You need to sit on top of that tree because you're a star today, Omar. Go on top of that tree.
I don't think it'll let me.
I'll come
But yeah,
on,
no,
I'll come
I
on.
It's not
think
allowed.
it's a super cool,
No,
like,
it's
gamified
really
way.
nice. Yeah, it's
Listen,
great
in
because
my opinion, because you've mentioned quite a few celebrities during this session, in my opinion, for the NFT artists who are not celebrities and don't have that celebrity status, it's really important that the metaverse is not just a gaming platform, it's a community building aspect, coming back to what Amrita said. So we feel it's, and if we're talking about the metaverse, we feel Connect.Club definitely fits the bill. It's not just spaces or a clubhouse. This is something that more engaged, more gamified, and I'm sure Omar appreciates the gamification element of this platform.